Hello， 大家好，欢迎来到不装聊天室。在这里，我们将对话时尚圈好友们，秉承着不装的宗旨，八卦与干货通通不放过。如果你也想听听他们在别的采访里不会透露的心声，那就赶紧关注起来吧。第2期，我们邀请到了一位重磅嘉宾，身兼演员、时尚媒体人等数个身份的Blake Abbie。如果你看了Bling Empire New York 后也被颜值衣品性格俱佳的Blake狠狠圈粉，那就快来看看我们聊了点啥吧。首先，我们当然和Blake聊了聊Bling Empire New York 的经历。
I mean, it was really fun to film. We filmed last year for about 3 months. And I was really kind of surprised that they wanted to cast me. We had started the process of casting about a year earlier. I don't really believe that I am necessarily a 上流社会的人嘛。I think I'm very much like a down-to-earth, grounded person, and I lived downtown New York, and my friend group is a little bit different. It's not about, for me at least, displaying wealth in the way that other people might think of being wealthy. I mean, for me, like I say that my bling is 文化. It's about fashion, it's about culture, it's about art, it's about different things. And I think that in New York, like you don't necessarily, you definitely for sure, you don't need to be wearing like expensive clothing or luxury clothing or jewelry or anything like that. So I think living in New York is different. I mean, I take the subway. Even when I'm in Beijing, I take the subway. When I'm in Shanghai, I take the subway. I think it's like normal.
Yeah.
Do you like him? I don't know. He's still 6'4". Brainwashed. I would kick his ass. Competition.
I'm ready for the fight.
Sometimes I don't.
当然，我们也问出了那个所有人都想知道的问题：真人秀到底有没有剧本？好家伙，这个问题直接把 Blake 的中文给逼出来了。
我们没有剧本，我们没有剧本。
好的，放你一马。接下来我们聊到了中国设计师的话题 ，Blake 的如数家珍真的让 Buzz 无比 respect。
所以，我可以跟赞助周开始了。他跟我们成为了朋友啊。我认为他关于人类和身份的未来很有趣，但是另外一个方面，我真的是是 pronounce 的粉丝。我觉得他们的东西有一点的中国故事。I think it's really interesting to mix that with a 现代的视觉嘛。It's like this mixture of modern and ancient. I think that's really interesting. 而且三位贵阳的男装，我觉得他做的东西真的很可爱。我喜欢 Window Sen. Window Sen is really interesting. They make like kind of crazy clothing, very futuristic as well. I love that it's very much a subculture in Shanghai. I think it's really interesting. And then I also love Chen Peng. 上一季的巴黎时装周，I think he was like one of the best shows in Paris. I was really, really surprised. 但是还有 Simon Lee, 岳七七、周瑞 She's so sweet. She's so lovely. I also like Louis Shantao Chen. He was a part of like the LVMH prize. I mean, I think there's like so much that's going on in China that is really amazing. And to see designers referencing China in a different way for people like them, it's been really needed to kind of shift perspective a little bit. At least for me, it looking at a lot of these collections, even though我没有护照，我没有中国的护照, I still feel very Chinese in my heart. And so looking at the collections really makes me feel a little bit like home in a way.
Blake 在3本 Buzz 非常喜欢的小众杂志 System、Document、A Magazine Curated by 都工作过，我们也借此机会让他介绍了这段令人羡慕的经历。
I think starting my career really with System Magazine as like a young baby editor, it was my first job. And so like it was cool to be able to launch the magazine with an interview with Nicolas Ghesquière. He had just left Balenciaga. He wanted to talk about the industry, and there was really no platform to be able to do that, to talk about his experience in a way that was not going to be edited or edited or censored really. And so when that came out, it really shocked kind of the industry, and I think it really put us on a different platform. And to be able to start that magazine with the team that was there was really amazing. I still work with them, and then I contribute. I wrote a piece for the last issue about China and about a Chinese casting director, and then I'm working on another piece for the next issue. I'm hoping to get it done, but let's see. Also about China. But then I wanted to move to New York to be closer to home, really, and explore something different and be closer to different types of media. I was living in London with System, and so honestly be closer to Hollywood too. And I was at Document, and what I went there to Document to really kind of build the magazine. It was quite a young magazine at that time, to build a magazine into a platform where we could really support young people, have the support of the fashion industry, but also support young people, young designers, young photographers and stylists. Artists was a big thing, thinkers, like scientists and things. And so that was really amazing to be able to do that kind of project there. And then like A Magazine, I've been working on actually at the same time as both of these, both magazines, System and Document. And so A Magazine is such a different type of magazine. Every issue we curate a new, the issue with a different pattern. And so it's so fun because each time we do it is so different. It can look like very simple and plain to one issue, be like crazy and overly designed. And so it's a really, it's also a really deep dive into the designer's mind. And I think because we are able to work with the designer so closely for such a long time on the magazine, it's an experience that really no one else in the industry has unless you're working at the brand. And I'm super lucky to be able to do that. It's always been fun. It's always a challenge, and it's always fun.
有着这样的黄金履历，当然要把秘诀分享给大家啦。听听 Blake 有什么样的求职建议吧。
建议呢？I think you have to be creative as you can be. I think we are living in a society, or like a time now, where we can make different choices than our parents. And sometimes that's scary, and sometimes that's you don't know what's going to come, because my mom always tells me, 你要当老师，你要当律师。对。For your generation, you want to be safe. You want to know where your money's coming from. You want to know where that you're going to have food next week. And so maybe our family, or at least for me, like my family didn't really teach me to know how to take risks. But I always knew that I would be safe. And so I think that taking a risk and trying something out for yourself is super important. When I moved to Europe, I moved in 2 weeks. It was crazy.
2 weeks.
When I did Meteor Garden, 流星花园, I got the call and left the next day.
说到一半挂断了。
既然自己 Q 到了流星花园，那就让我们欣赏一下 Blake 和王鹤棣沈月同框的名场面吧。
这个人是谁？
这可是曾经威胁到王鹤棣的男人哦。Blake 表示未来希望继续尝试演戏，快来看看他想合作的导演 Dream List 都有谁吧。
I would love to come back to China and do more. I mean, the pandemic happened, and I was supposed to do some other a film at the beginning of the pandemic, but of course, everything got canceled. But yeah, it's funny. Like, some of my favorite directors are Chinese. Oh yeah, is a one of my favorites, and Jia Jiangke is a favorite of mine, and Wang Jiawei.
说到时尚圈的亚裔力量这个话题，当然不得不提 Vogue China 主编张宁。面对诸多争议 ，Blake 也想借此机会为自己的朋友打 call。
And I mean, Margaret's a friend, and I really hope for her to find her footing in China. I think it's a massive job. and I have the utmost respect for her to take it on and make it something different and something of her own. And of course, you know, anything we do, there's going to be people who say you're not this, you're not that, and but you kind of have to just like stick to your guns and push forward, and I think that, you know, it takes time, but yeah, I think that it's very interesting. Just the media landscape generally, I think it's interesting to see where things are changing.
Blake 一向非常支持身边的亚裔朋友们，他还曾经为当下大热的设计师 Peter Do 走秀。
Well, I mean, when I started with Peter, like he is a friend of mine. We met, I don't know, 5 years ago, or maybe 6 years ago when he moved back to Paris, and so to New York from Paris, I should say. He was working at Celine before, and it's funny, I never think of myself as a model. I mean, I understand that I'm very grateful to be blessed with the genes that I have. You know, my mom's from Hangzhou. I always say like 杭州出美女。我有我妈妈的 DNA. Yeah, when Peter asked me to walk the show, I was like, yeah, for sure. I mean, it was my first time walking a show, and I was very happy to be able to support a friend, but also, you know, the Asian community. I think it's really important for me to, and I really do show up for my Asian friends. I think maybe people in China don't understand fully the difficulties and visibility in the Western world of Asian people, but it's very difficult for us to be seen, and so we have to show up, and so yeah, it was really fun to do that.
最后，当然还有不装聊天室的传统环节，介绍穿搭。快来看看时髦精 Blake 今天穿了啥吧。
Today I am wearing, okay, this is Yohji Yamamoto vintage shirt, which is a 3-color shirt that I just found. Vintage, it's a vintage piece, so I think it's from late 90s. Yeah, this is Useless Objects, which is Lucia Liu, a friend of mine who's in China. She's a stylist in China. This is her brand. This is what is this? All Blues, a Swedish brand. I'm gonna stand up. Chopova, Lovina skirt, and then I'm wearing Eckhaus Lotte jeans, and then just Uniqlo socks. That's and Peter Do. This is Peter Do.
希望通过这次独家访谈，大家对 Blake 有了更深入的了解，并从中汲取到灵感和启发。好了，这就是本期的全部内容。不装编辑部就是要给时尚卸妆带你360度环游名利场，做稳了，我们下次见。
Okay, bye bye.